You're gonna go from top to bottom. So at the top, we have our exhaust system. It's probably mounted and secured. It's not bent, it's not cracked. It has no holds, no illegal welds, and there's no indication of any carbon soot. You have 5 clearance lights, 4 red in color, 1 clear in color. All the hardware is present. There's no visible damage such as cracks, and it's properly mounted and secured. We have our DOT tape, which is the 1294. It's properly mounted and secured. It's not cut, it's not torn. We have our top back panel. It is properly mounted and secured, and there is no visible damage. We have our 2 brake lights. It is properly mounted and secured. No visible damage such as cracks. All the hardware is present and it's red in color. We have our destination sign. It's properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present. No damages such as cracks, and it's clear in color. We have our bottom back panel. It's properly mounted and secured to its hinges. No visible damage. We have our DOT tape. It's properly mounted and secured. No visible damage such as cuts or tears. We have our license plate light. It's properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present. It's clear in color, and there is no damage to the light. We have our license plate. It is missing a little bolt, but it is still operational. There is no visible damage, and it's properly mounted and secured. We have our back panel door. All the hardware is present. No visible damage to the handle. We have our left and right turn signals, amber in color. All the hardware is present. No damages such as cracks. Properly mounted and secured. We have our left and right tail lights. They're properly mounted and secured. No damages such as cracks. All the hardware is present, red in color. We have our left and right brake lights. They are properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present. No damages such as cracks, red in color. We have our left and right reverse lights, properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present. No damages such as cracks, clear in color. We have our left and right reflectors, properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present. No damages such as cracks, red in color. We have our back bumper. It is properly mounted and secured. No visible damages to the bumper, and some damages would include cracks and dents. We have our left and right toe ties. They are properly mounted and secured. There's no visible damage to the toe ties, such as any cracks, dents, illegal welds. We're going to look underneath our bus and make sure this bus doesn't have any leaks, but I can actually see a little bit of leaking underneath the bus. Still operational. After you do all that, you're going to open this door. This is your engine compartment. We are going to go left to right in the engine compartment. You do not worry about this. Alright, so to start off, we have our coolant reservoir tank. It is properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present. There's no damages, such as any cracks or any leaks to the tank. You have our coolant reservoir cap. It's properly mounted and secured. No leaks around the cap. All the hardware is present. We have our coolant reservoir sight glass. It is properly mounted and secured. No damages such as any cracks, no leaks, and the sight glass indicates proper coolant level. We have our hoses in the back. They are properly mounted and secured to their clamps. All the hardware is present, and the hoses have no cuts, no leaks. We have our wires in the back. They are properly mounted and secured to their clamps. All the hardware is present. It is not cut, not frayed, and there is no exposed wiring. We have our transmission dipstick. It is properly mounted and secured. No visible damage such as leaks. All the hardware is present. And in order to check the transmission dipstick, you would pull the dipstick out, you would wipe it off, you would put it back in, and you pull it out one more time to check the dipstick. We have our engine oil dipstick. It is properly mounted and secured. No visible damage such as leaks to the dipstick. And again, to check the engine oil dipstick, you would pull it out, wipe it off, put it in, and pull it out again to check the engine oil level. Right here, we're going to call two things. Our frame, which is this right here. It is properly mounted and secured. There's no visible damages, such as any cracks, dents, holes, any illegal welds, and there is no damage to the longitudinal frame members, cross members, box, and floor. Then we're going to call our drive shaft. Drive shaft is something that you can't really see, but the drive shaft is properly mounted and secured because it's underneath the bus. No visible damage, such as any cracks, dents, or holes. Also, for the exhaust system, I forgot to mention, the exhaust runs all the way through the bus. You can kind of see it right here too. You're going to come over here, you're going to open this door. Alright, so now we have our alternator, which is right here. You got to make sure it's properly mounted and secured. There's no visual damage to the alternator. There's no damage to these this positive and negative connection to the wires. Make sure it's properly mounted and secured. No exposed wiring, because the wiring could cause an engine fire. The wires run all the way through the battery to the battery. It is belt driven. This is the belt. It should not have more than 1/2 to 3/4 inch of play, and the belt cannot be cut and it cannot be torn. This is our water pump. It is properly mounted and secured, and there's no visual damage to the water pump. Some damages would be leaks. It is also belt driven. The belt cannot have no more than 1/2 to 3/4 inch of play, and the belt cannot be cut, it cannot be torn. This is our AC/compressor unit. Properly mounted and secured. No visible damage such as leaks to the AC compressor. It is also belt driven. No more than 1/2 to 3/4 inch of play, and the belt is not cut and it's not torn. Behind the AC compressor unit, that thing right there, that is your power steering. It is properly mounted and secured. There's no visual damage to the power steering. Some damages would include some leaks. It has a dipstick also. So with that dipstick, in order to check it, you would pull it out, wipe it off, put it in, and pull it back out. Power steering is belt driven. No more than 1/2 to 3/4 inch of play in the power steering, and the belt cannot be cut, it cannot be torn. You're going to call your wires again for this side. The wires are properly mounted and secured to its clamps. All the hardware is present. No exposed wiring, and the wires cannot be cut, cannot be frayed. Then you're going to call your hoses. Properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present, secured to its clamps. It cannot be cut, and there's no leaks to the hoses. And that's it for the back part. Once you do the engine compartment, you're going to start over here on the right side. At the very top, you have a clearance light. It's properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present. It's red in color, and there is no damages such as cracks. You have this panel right here. It's properly mounted and secured, and no visual damage to the panel. It has a scratch, but it's still operational. This bottom panel is properly mounted and secured to its hinges. No visual damage. This reflector right here, properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present. No damages such as cracks, and it's red in color. You're going to come by. You're going to count your windows. So this is considered a top window. This is considered a bottom window. So you would do it. You have 1, 2, 3 top and bottom windows. You got to make sure they are properly mounted and secured. No visual damage such as cracks or any breaks. No illegal stickers. No obstructions. You're going to get here. This is like your tire area now. This is a splash guard. This is a mud flap. Your splash guard is properly mounted and secured. no visual damage. Mud flap is properly mounted and secured. It has a tear, if you guys could see, but it's still operational. The back tire, 30 seconds of tread depth, and it's evenly worn across. The outer wall, you got to make sure there's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. The back tires have 2 tires. In between them is a spacer. The spacer cannot be dented, cannot be cracked. There's no damage to the spacer, and it's free of foreign objects and free of debris. You have a rim. You got to make sure it's properly mounted and secured. No visual damage, such as any cracks or any dents. No illegal welds. No rust trails. You have your lug nuts properly mounted and secured. No visual damage to the lug nuts. No shiny threads. No metal shavings. That would be an indication of looseness. No cracks, no distortions. And all the lug nut indicators, which are these little arrow tabs right here, are facing in the same direction. In the back, you have the axle seal. It is properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present, and there is no leaks on the seal or on the rim. This is called a crossfire. This checks your air pressure for your tire. Your crossfire, you got to make sure it's properly mounted and secured, and there's no visual damage to the crossfire and no leaks. Yellow indicates that it's proper air pressure. Red indicates that it's over 10 psi over air pressure, and black indicates that it's 10 psi under air pressure. Most of the buses have it like this. Some are faded like this, so it's good to know. Once you do that, you hit everything that you can see for the tire. Now you have to hit some stuff that you can't see based off of memory alone. So with that, you have 2 sections. It's called the suspensions and the brakes. The suspension has 6 items. So the first one is the spring air mount. It is properly mounted and secured. No breaks, no cracks. You have your torque arm, properly mounted and secured. No breaks, no cracks. You have your U-bolts, properly mounted and secured to the frame and the axle. No damage. You have your springs, properly mounted and secured. No damage such as leaks. You have your airbags, properly mounted and secured. No visual damage and no leaks. And then you have your shocks, properly mounted and secured. No damage and no leaks. Those are your 6 for your suspension. Then you go on to the brakes. Your brakes have 7 things. You have your brake hoses, properly mounted and secured. No visible damage such as any cracks or any leaks. You have your brake lines, properly mounted and secured. No visible damage such as any cracks or any leaks. You have your brake chamber, properly mounted and secured. It cannot be cracked, it cannot be dented, and it has no holes. Slack adjuster, properly mounted and secured. No broken, loose, or missing parts. Push rod, properly mounted and secured. No broken, loose, or missing parts. Brake drum, properly mounted and secured. It cannot be cracked, dented, or any holes. And then finally, brake lining, properly mounted and secured. It cannot have any cracks, any dents, or any holes, and there should be a visible amount of lining present. Once you complete that, you continue going. This is your 4-way flasher / turn signal. All the hardware is present. No visible damage, amber in color, no damages such as cracks. This is your fuel tank. This is your fuel tank door. It's properly mounted and secured to its hinges, and there's no damage to the door. Fuel tank cap, properly mounted and secured to the tank. All the hardware is present, no damages such as leaks on the cap. And then finally, this is your fuel tank. Your fuel tank is properly mounted and secured to your frame. No visible damage such as any leaks to the tank. We call these deboarding lights, because they're in the back of the bus. Your deboarding lights are properly mounted and secured. All the hardware is present. Clear in color. No signs of any cracks or condensation in the deboarding lights. Then you have your door, properly mounted and secured to its hinges. No visible damage to the door. You have your door seals, the ones on the side and the one in the middle. No visible damage to the seals. It is not cut, it is not torn. Then finally you have your door glass, properly mounted and secured. No visible damage such as any breaks or any cracks. No illegal stickers, no obstruction. And then I'll let you but I'm gonna turn the button. Start your warm up.
Alright, stop the video here.
Huh?
Alright, keep going.
The whole thing so you can get the whole video.
No, I was saying he should have finished it.
DOT tape, top and bottom, no cracks. And no tears. Yeah. Windows, pop around the steering, no illegal stickers,
No breaks and no cracks.
brakes and no cracks. Then you have the clearance light, amber in color, hardware present, and no cracks. Call it destination sign. And probably around secured, all hardware is present, and white in color. You have your tires. Probably mount secured, no abrasions, no bulges, and no cracks.
Cuts.
And no cut. Cuts. Then you have the lug nuts, probably mount secured. No rust, no shiny, and direction arrows all pointing the same way. You have your hubs in, probably mount secured, all hardware is present, and no leaks. Then you have your
No leaks on the seal
leaks on the seal
or on the rim.
and on the rim. Then you have your suspension system. No, the tire wearing evenly across for 30 seconds.
Good.
The suspension.
Missing two things before you go to suspension. Or actually,
Your
you're
tire
missing
is,
four things actually.
your tire is visibly pressurized. Visibly.
Good. You're missing your rim.
The rim, there's no signs of cracks, there's no illegal welds, and no rust.
Good. You're missing your splash guard.
Splash guard, probably mounted secured, no cuts, and no dents.
Good.
Splash guard, probably mounted secured, all hardware is present, no cuts or tears.
And then finally your valve stem.
Valve stem, probably mounted secured, no leaks.
Good. Alright. And now you can go.
Suspension system, your spring bag, properly mounted secured, no cracks, no breakage, no damage, and no
Go inside.
leaks.
Okay.
Your U-bolts, properly mounted secured, no dents, no cracks.
Secured to what?
Secured to the frame
And axle.
and axle.
Good.
Your springs, properly mounted secured, no cracks, no dents, no cracks, and no tear. Cracks. That's it, cracks
Cracks and leaks.
and leaks. don't know why they go. If they can't lead, that's why I keep it off. They can't lead. It's cracked. And then you have your tie rod. No cracks, no leaks. Probably mine was secured.
Tire rod.
Tie rod. Is that what it was? Tie rod.
It's maybe you're thinking of the torque arm.
Torque arm's in the back. So this has torque arm too. The torque arm probably mine is secured. No cracks, no dents. Then you have
You're missing two.
your spring airbag. Spring airbag, I did say that. Your springs, torque arm, U-boat, U-rod, U-clamps, shocks,
Shocks as well.
probably mine secured with no leaks, no damage.
Good.
And then one more was it?
Is there a brake adjuster up front? Is it brake adjuster up front, or is that just in the back? Or is that what you call it, slack adjuster or whatever?
Slack adjuster.
Like
That's
this.
fine.
But that's a different section. That's the
Okay.
brake system.
That's the brake system.
Okay.
Spring airbag, the U-boats, the springs.
Well, the one I was missing is airbags.
Airbags is part of the spring. Suspension, okay. And the airbag is probably mine secured with no holes or cracks and leaks.
Good.
And your brake system. Well, that's part of the brake track.
What, airbags?
Oh, no, that's sorry. You got your brake chamber. Probably mine secured. No leaks, no damage, no cracks. Then you have your slack adjuster. No cracks, all hardware is present, no leaks.
And then there's more to the slack adjuster. It's BLM. You remember that?
Vent system. That ain't what you-
Broken, loose, or missing parts.
Broken, loose, and missing parts. I said it differently. The slack adjuster is probably not secured, no dents, vents, loose, or missing parts. The push rod, probably not secured, no vents, vents, no missing parts, all hardware.
I'll give you that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, well, here, let him finish it. We'll all do it.
And then you have your brake system.
Yeah,
You can already go there. Have your brake system, your brake drum, pilot mount secured, no holes, no cracks. Then you have your brake lining, pilot mount secured, no brakes, no holes, no cracks.
And there should be
And you should be able, and the brake line should be visibly seen.
visible amount of light.
Visible amount of light.
Lines.
Oh, and brake linings, probably mount secured, no cracks, no leaks.
You can pause the video.
Okay.